This is Valley News Live at 6.
A small Minnesota town is up in arms tonight after an online petition surfaced in hopes of stripping the school district of its controversial mascot, claiming it's a nod to Confederate soldiers.
Alums of Dilworth, Glendon, Felton Public Schools say the Rebel name and mascot were adopted in the early 1990s when the two districts merged, saying the Rebel name was never rooted in hate.
But as Valley News Team's Bailey Hurley learned today, others say regardless, it's time for change.
Despite being a 1989 Dilworth locomotive grad, Leah Shervin was also a rebel, as both track and wrestling athletes from Dilworth and the Glendon Felton Buffaloes combined in the mid-'80s.
We needed to come up with a combined team name. We just thought running Rebels, for a track team, it sounded cool. We didn't have any reference to Confederate soldier or anything like that.
Since then, Superintendent Brian Tygeson says concerns over the mascot have popped up from time to time.
I think it's been more lately just with everything going on in the United States.
More specifically, finding issue with the actual mascot versus the Rebel name.
There are some people that take a look at that and they say, that is very symbolic of the Confederacy.
If the basis of the mascot is a nod to the Confederacy, I think it's better to just move on.
Teaching social studies for 9 years at DGF, Burnside says the Rebels aren't a group we should want to glorify.
It's people that wanted to fight a war over their desire to remain separate and to continue the institution of slavery.
Adding just because the mascot was selected innocently doesn't mean it still shouldn't be changed.
We grow and we advance as a people, and I think the selection of mascots is one of those.
They're very proud of the name and they love it, and the kids are kind of heartbroken.
And with the district's current upgrades and projects, a mascot change isn't out of the question.
We're trying to be proactive with it.
But Tygeson assures it's not happening today.
We do want to get a pulse of the community and see if it is time for a change.
In Dilworth, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
DGF Schools says the timeline for the mascot change wouldn't come until this summer or fall, stating parents and students will have ample time to voice their opinions on the direction the district goes.
Cooler temps and a chance for some rain during this Tuesday. That sounds pretty good. Let's check in with Hutch to find out if there's anything falling right now, and if there is, where. Hutch, we could sure use this.
Yeah, absolutely. Much needed rain is on the way. Our southern counties seeing that, and a reminder of where the drought is the worst. Central and parts of western North Dakota, an extreme drought where you see the reds. But look at the Devil's Lake Basin through the James River Valley. Severe drought conditions there. This system is mainly going to impact southeast North Dakota into Lakes Country. Look at the snow in Rapid City, thunder and lightning south of Watertown. For us, showers in the Ellendale to Lisbon area and along the South Dakota border, right from Fullerton all the way into southern parts of Richland County at this hour. Now, there is a little batch of light precipitation in the Kindred area that could be causing a few drops on windshields, but our best chance at rain here in the FM area comes later. It's warmest where we had quiet conditions up to the north. Now, it's coolest down to the south where the rain is. Keep up with the showers and the latest forecast by scanning this code in. You can download the Valley News Live weather app. There's a link there. It's free. Search VNL weather in the App Store today. I'll have your hour-by-hour forecast, where the rain's heading and how long it stays and how much you might see in your area here in a moment.
I know you'll keep us posted. Thanks.
Still no word on what caused a fire that broke out at a recycling center in Fargo. It happened this afternoon at the Minn Kota recycling facility. Crews found heavy smoke and fire involving a cardboard storage pile. The burning material was carried into a compactor by a conveyor system, which made it hard for firefighters to get to it. The building's sprinkler system kept the fire from spreading.
One person's facing citations after their brush pile fire got out of hand. It happened yesterday in the area by Third Crow Wing Lake, which is southeast of Park Rapids. Officials say Tracy Lack was burning leaves and brush earlier in the day when the fire rekindled and spread after Lack left. No one was hurt. Hubbard County is one of many Minnesota counties under burning restrictions.
One person was taken to a hospital after an accident at the Moorhead Public Works office. Police responded to reports of a person who was hit by a piece of equipment in the 700 block of 15th Avenue North in Moorhead. The victim is said to be in stable condition.
Turning to our COVID-19 coverage, North Dakota has come a long way since the pandemic's peak numbers last year. But despite the rollout of vaccines, we're seeing cases go back up. It was back in November the state saw its highest daily active coronavirus count at more than 10,400 people. In March, active cases dropped as low as 560. Now that number is climbing back up into the thousands. Health officials say pandemic fatigue is real, and it's starting to rear its head through a lack of health safety precautions. The majority of new cases seem to be stemming from group settings and larger gatherings.
It's possible that this upward trend may not last all that long and may not be as significant as the peak we had in November. Let's hope not, because that was pretty significant. But we don't know that for sure.
The best way to avoid another spike is to continue wearing masks and follow the health safety guidelines set by the CDC. The new variants also pose the potential for another wave of COVID cases, and officials say to get vaccinated as soon as you can.
The Bishop of the Fargo Diocese is reinstating the obligation to attend Mass for Catholics. Bishop John Folda says the obligation will be reinstated on May 1st. The obligation to attend Mass had been dispensed last March due to the pandemic. Certain people are still exempt from attending Mass in person. If you have any questions, you should contact your local priest.
A multi-million-dollar settlement has been reached between the city of Bemidji and 3M, which will help pay for treating contamination in Bemidji's water supply. 3M has agreed to pay $12.5 million to help build and operate a treatment facility to remove chemicals known as PFAs. The city has found elevated levels in its wells in 2016 and linked the source to firefighting foam used during training at the regional airport that's located near the wells. Some PFAs have been linked to health problems.
A newly released transportation report for the state of North Dakota says in the Fargo area, 26% of major roadways and 6% of bridges are considered to be in poor condition and need immediate repair. Terry Trainer with the North Dakota Association of Counties says road conditions like these can impact your pocketbook,
costing the average motorist in the region $630 annually in additional vehicle operating costs due to driving on rough roads.
Trainer says 41% of roads and bridges are rated in fair condition and need ongoing maintenance.
In tonight's legislative wash on the North Dakota side, lawmakers in Bismarck approved setting deadlines on teacher negotiations. School boards complained about teacher unions holding out on negotiations too long into the summer. This bill gives unions until February 1st to organize for negotiations and gives teachers and the board until July 1st to make a deal. If they don't hit the deadline, both sides must declare an impasse. Teachers said it puts a lot of pressure for teachers to negotiate heavily during the school year. There was some back and forth on this bill, and some deadlines were extended from the original version.
The only thing that solves negotiation issues is trust, empathy, and leadership. Let's keep the onus of negotiation on our school boards and teachers and encourage leadership, not regulation.
Teachers and opposing lawmakers say this is an attempt by school boards to take negotiating leverage away from them. School districts say this will help complete budgets and fill vacancies sooner. The bill now goes to the governor's desk for his signature.
Later on Valley News Live at 6, the latest from the Derek Chauvin murder trial as the defense questions the difficulty of real-time decisions.
A beautiful Tuesday morning sunrise, but clouds are bringing a chance of much-needed rain to the valley. In fact, a few drops making their way up to the FM area as we speak. We'll have details on who has the best chance of seeing rain, who will see no rain, and that extended outlook looks continued wet. I'll have details next.